Good morning, Facebook and YouTube land. Good afternoon or evening, depending where you are in the world. It is Brian Patrick White and Amy Thomson here, and we are here to entertain you on the Executive Misfits show. Who I am the founder of the Finishers Club, Where Dreams Connect. That's the Creative Collaboration Summit and a connection platform to help you achieve your dreams. I'm also the creator of 30 Days to Happiness and Affirming Arts, top 40 under 40 award winner for business, and a bunch of things like international best-selling author and oodles of things. But that's not why I'm here. I'm here actually for you today. And before we get into everything, I want to introduce my lovely, awesome co-host, Brian Patrick White from Listen on Big Media.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. From wherever you are tuning in, be it outer space or another galaxy, welcome. This is Brian Patrick here. I am Brian Patrick White, the founder of Listen on Big Media, who is what it is. It's an incubator agency for early stage business startups, project enthusiasts, and nonprofit newcomers, designing, developing, and delivering your idea to the market. Thank you, Amy.
Yeah, you've got a gift for helping nonprofits with getting their videos out and making them look like superstars in the digital media age. So yeah. Let's get into the news. I want to hear what the news is today.
Okay, absolutely. Speaking of inspiration and nonprofits, we have a village over in Africa, which is interesting, as one of the nonprofits I'm working with is starting their flagship mission over there. And the similarities, we have solar power. There are a lot of rolling blackouts that happen, and solar power is up and coming, right? It's already here. It's not even up and coming, and it is. So this village is essentially utilizing its community, right? And we're using bartering amongst the goods to pay for school tuition and other services that the community is offering. So what I'm liking about this is, they're taking the funds out of it. They're taking currency and money out of it and looking at like real resources that humans need, that people need, all of us, all across the world, right? There are the basics, food, shelter, and clothing, and they're recognizing that. They're recognizing the value in all of it, and they're really making the system work. So I'm interested in reading more and learning more about this specific community and who's working with them to take it into the nonprofit that I'm working with and others. So clearly something is working here, and I want to know more. And perhaps you out there would want to know more.
Yeah, I love that. I just actually came back from my mom's. I went to visit her on the weekend, and her whole farm is surrounded by solar panels. Like, when I say solar panel fields, I mean it's just field after field after field of like solar panel stuff, and it's amazing to see what you can do with solar panel or solar power, but also like fueling an economy with solar power and shea butter. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What else is next?
What else is next? Coming up, speaking of shea butter, food, and farming, this gentleman here, Mr. Max Kane, is after being diagnosed, the doctor's saying, look, you've got this going on. I won't name the specific dis-ease or ailment, but really started taking a look at his health and what he is eating. And perhaps you've heard of, farm to table, right? And community supported agriculture. So what this guy started is essentially a more efficient way to have access to it, for the consumers to have access to it, and for it to be delivered to the door. And I have known a number of people who begin farming in their backyard. They terrace the backyard even as it's on a mountainside, a hillside. And within COVID coming out, reading about these backyard farmers and chicken sales, putting chickens in the backyard really on the rise. So I'm seeing that there's definitely a shift going on with where our food's coming from, where we can get it, where it's available and accessible. And, we ought to take a look at having a segment on that,
Totally.
Gardening.
Like, it's interesting, and it's hard for me to believe that cities and municipalities put bans on having chickens. I understand roosters can be loud, okay? And I understand sometimes like animals can smell. But the thing is that it's like a sustainable livelihood resource for people and humanity, right? It's plain and simple. It's organic. When you go to the store, you don't even get organic farm fresh eggs anymore. Everything's like everything we get from the grocery store for the most part is processed, and that's really disturbing to me.
There's a lot of processed food out there, high in preservatives and this, that, and the other. Roosters, where I'm at right now, the neighboring city, they passed an ordinance to, allow chickens and no roosters. And they kept it to a minimum of 5, regardless of the size of the plot, in town, right? And I don't know about that. Anyway,
I think it's great.
We need more chickens. 5 is very limited. And when you're looking to collect eggs and whatnot to feed your family, 5 more than likely isn't going to cut it. So anyway.
How big your family is. And that's a conversation I could totally talk about. We should do an episode.
We really ought to.
On, like sustainable living.
Yeah.
We should totally do that. I'd be all for that. Okay, what's the next piece of news?
Right on. The next piece of news is about small business and how with the right people, the right connections, it can really accelerate it. We've got small business all over the world, and this is speaking specifically to a bookstore in Boone, North Carolina, and how with the right connections, it completely saved them. I do not know the whole backstory. Apparently, though, Stephen Colbert, and some other celebrities were running some sort of endorsement, some sort of contest, and they ended up choosing the bookstore in Boone, North Carolina. They ran a Super Bowl ad, had some high-end, like with Tom Hanks and Sam Elliott. I didn't see it myself. However, it is right here.
Yeah.
I watched the beginning of it. I didn't see it on the Super Bowl.
Well, if you didn't get it on the Super Bowl, you can go onto YouTube and you can look up the Foggy Fine Books. And you can find that. It's really great news. I love when people step in to help support each other. Speaking of supporting each other, it's so great to have the Creative Collaboration Summit and then find out afterwards what's actually been happening. So I had a conversation yesterday from, Aisha Hogan from iAwesome, and she's partnered with Patty Sadler from New Life Clarity Publishing. They met at the event. All kinds of things come out of the event. And now because they met at the event, they've been working and negotiating together. They're doing a collaboration book, and it's from bottom to top. Now, iAwesome is about universal self-mastery. And a lot of the instructors in it came from really basically we discover our gifts when we kind of hit hard times, and then we really have to have some of these things come out of us or get some help and, be humbled in life. Regardless, there are some fascinating instructors who teach all kinds of different healing modalities and even business skills, like pretty much anything that you would need to learn to master yourself would be through that. And so Aisha's now got 100 people. She's looking for a couple other people who have hit bottom and have been able to elevate themselves or rise out. It's 2,500 words per person per chapter, and then they get to record themselves on audio as well. So that's pretty exciting because it's going to help a lot of people. Think about 100 different stories about how people elevated from the bottom, the lowest that they figure they could go. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a story in there who's going to help, all kinds of people. So that's pretty exciting.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of in conversations with the collaborations in book writing, having multiple people submit their pieces to make up the book, different chapters. So there we have it. Well, Amy, more collaboration news.
More on collaboration. Well, here's the thing is I am working on a project, and I mentioned this last week to help my own kids, but it's also to help 18 other kids who are at risk. So at-risk youth. And depending on how well this project succeeds, I expect it's going to be really well. We'll be able to take it and apply it to so many other youth and families. So we're helping kids to elevate themselves, discover who they are as people and leaders in the world, get them back on track academically, get them feeling good about themselves. And what's really cool is they're going to have their homes like revamped, as well as their like physical appearance. They're going to be able to step into like a personal, what's it called, appearance that really is suitable for them. And they get to pick their parents' courses. So through the 10-week process, yeah, because kids often feel like parents never listen to them, and parents are always like, well, I know better. I've been through that.
Oh, this is great.
Like, you don't know anything. So so basically over like a 10-week period, kids are going to get to choose what their parents like.
No, this
parents need. Like my daughter called me out and told me I was full of BS. She's like, you're so full of it, like, I'll walk around all happy. And, I know that there are things going on inside that you really don't express. And I was like, okay, great. You got me. So, yeah. And I just said, I've been trained in how to go from like upset to happy so quickly that I wasn't letting myself be with my upset. And my daughter called me out on that. So kids are going to get to choose their parents' courses.
And so the kids will be working. Who's designing? I imagine the kids they're coming up with the ideas, and then there'll be some more thought put into it from that initial spark and brainstorm.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly it. I sat down with a bunch of kids, mine and then their friends, and I said, what is it that you guys need?
Nice.
Because I'm a parent and I see things one way, and then I can give them ideas and what I think.
Wow.
It's their lives. So yeah, we wanted it to be very self-directed by the kids, but then also the adults as well, because we're going to be helping the whole family. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
This has come about in the last few weeks.
It has, yeah, and we're going to be having an information session for anybody who has something that they can offer for youth and their families to elevate their well-being and their success and self-expression, all of that. We're going to be having an information night for people who want to get involved in the project, and that's going to be 2 weeks from now. I don't have the exact date, so that will be announced next week. And then after that, the kids are going to get involved, and it's going to go from there.
Beaut.
Yeah.
Beaut. And as you were talking about the kids putting it together, the courses for the adults, I'm like, this is flow hilarious. And
oh my God. Yeah, because it's like the number of times my kids are like, you need that, Mom. And I'm like, I'm way too busy to do that. Sorry. But, we don't hear because we're so busy taking care of all the details. So in this program, kids are really going to be like, I think my mom and dad would benefit from these workshops. And the parents get to pick 5 of the kids' workshops. Kids get to pick 8 of the parents. So parents only get to choose 2 of their own workshops, and kids get to choose 5 of their own.
I see there's a huge possibility for this. And for you that, if you're listening out there, you're watching right now, live or recorded, if you've got ideas that move you and you really want some feedback and beyond, possibly, this really is the place to come to. One of the places, there are many, Amy is huge on collaboration and working with, she's collaboration, compassion, and contribution all day long.
Thank you. If anybody wants to connect with me or my team, reach out to success@wheredreamsconnect.com and just mention any of the things that we were talking about. If you're an instructor and you want to get involved on the project to help the at-risk youth and their families, just let me know. And also, if you just have a project or an idea and you want some additional help collaborating on things or whatever, just reach out to my team and I. Okay. Awesome. So Brian Patrick, I'm going to take this down, but what do you have going on?
I've got all kinds of magnificent things going on. We'll start with what's behind me. This is my green screen. Endorsed by me. No. So we're in StreamYard and working with technology, and Amy's got the host controls. It's under her account, and I'm not sure that I can. I'm sure there's a way to do it. I know there is, right? There's got to be, to use my green screen to actually utilize what it's here for. And so here we are today, live right now. It's not set up. You do see the green screen behind me. I went to the fabric store last week, found a nice piece, totally worked out. So whether you go to a major online company or your local fabric store, these things are magnificent, and I'm seriously excited to explore what I'll be doing with it. And as you can see, we have a nice fold here and a fold or crease here. These are not ideal. We want it like nice and flat and tight and taut, and lighting is huge.
I painted my green screen. I mean, it's in the background. I painted my green screen. It was there, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna throw pictures on it. So since I threw pictures on it, I don't even use it anymore, which is really funny. And I still have it set up for times that I want to use it. So yeah,
nice.
It's all good.
It's all good.
I wanted to show you something.
Yeah.
Speaking of paintings on the wall, and your green screen, by the way, is lovely. Don't ever think it's not, even with the creases. When you put up the images, usually you can't see them. Sometimes you can, but with tech nowadays, everybody just expects that. So I wanted to show you something I made, and I just hit the ceiling with it. This is an oil pastel picture I did a long time ago. And it took me a long time. How do I even get it centered in the screen?
It's okay. Keep going. There you go.
So it took me a really long time to do. And I smoothed everything out with my fingers. So my fingers were like almost bloody after, like it really hurt. But when I was making this, I was looking at two prisms. Like I had a glass prism. Wow, the mirror effect is weird. So I had a glass prism, and then I put it onto fabric, and then I did like mirror stuff, and then I was just drawing it out. And what I find fascinating is inside people's images, you can always see things. So what I noticed when I look back at all of my old images, and I could probably grab a bunch, but there's always some kind of spiritual person. I don't know if you can see that. Do you see this? Where is it? That character there?
No, I was seeing some other things. The character, this is totally like a Where's Waldo.
I know.
In a new sense, another way.
But it's like I always see some kind of like spiritual person. And there's also this number 2. 2's a very, oh my gosh, 2's a number that's very significant for me, but I didn't know that was there. That's my life path number.
I
knew that at the time.
Definitely see the 2. The 2 popped out.
Yeah. And then what else do you see?
A lot of colors. Oh, and then the diamond. I see this. Yeah, diamond colors, the prisms, triangles, flames, vapor.
You see the ghost with boobs?
I do now.
It's like I look at that and I'm like, what the heck is that? So anyways, I love looking at people's artwork and seeing what's there. And I always discover something either about myself or about other people too. Yeah. All right. So I wanted to talk about also next is the summit that we have coming up. Do you want to tell people what's going on with the summit?
What's going on with the summit? What's not going on with the summit? So we are deep in discussion of what it looks like, looking to continuously improve upon what we've done before, right? And so we're definitely expanding. And when I say expanding, I mean availability and opportunities for everyone, right? Whether you're curious and you're really excited yet concerned about making it there, registering for it, it's going to be like you can stream it. You're going to be able to watch it from where you're sitting at right now. And the good news is, if you want to participate for a little more in-depth conversation around the campfire, you can register, which that has happened before, right? When it comes to the breakout rooms and everything that we're offering, like we can get a recording. We could get a recording. It's true. That's coming. That's not all. We're going to have a nice list of everyone who has registered, has a project, has an idea, and that will be available for you as well. Amy, what did I leave out? Did I leave out anything? I'm sure I did. Yet those are top secret plans.
Yeah. So I wasn't expecting to share top secret plans yet. And long story short is, if you've got a project or a dream or a goal and you're working on something, join us. And you can register at wheredreamsconnect.com, which is this one here. Woohoo! Yeah. So
let's work with that. This is a raw and real day though. So let's work.
Okay, so speaking of raw and real, I want to share stuff. This is what our intention of this show is today. It's about opening up and being authentic and discovering blind spots. Okay? So, in the kitchen just the other day, my son comes up and he says, "What are you thinking about?" Because I've got my headphones in and I was just doing the dishes. And I was like, I was thinking about what kind of role model I am as a mother. I'm like, my biggest dream for you guys is that you guys grow up and live your dreams fully, full on, head on, that you guys are living your authentic life. And yet, I'm not out living my authentic life full on because I'm so concerned about how it's going to impact my boyfriend, my kids, everybody else. And then I'm like, I'm completely living an inauthentic life and I'm full of BS. How can I teach my children to live their wildest dreams if I'm not doing it? You know? And then, so I said to them, I said, I can do this and I can continue and teach you the cycle of self-sacrifice, which is exactly what I said to myself when my dad died. He died when I was fairly young. I questioned what his purpose in life was. I was like, why did he live? I mean, he spent all his time taking care of the family and he had these dreams and goals. He wanted to have a sailboat and travel the world. And it doesn't seem like that humongous a goal. It's like you can actually do that. But he died, and all I remember was all the time and energy and effort he put into us and making things work. And I vowed to never be like that. And then what kind of life am I living right now? I am putting all of my time and energy into doing things for everybody else to make things work, and then teaching my children the same thing. I want them to live free and self-expressed. That means I have to cut the BS and live free and self-expressed.
Amy, can you say a little more? Because, I mean, as you occur, my experience with you is you're self-expressed. So people like, Amy, happy, online, at home, you know, right? And like fully self-expressed with everything you're talking about with the art and everything. So I would think people who know you or watching or listening are like, what in the world are you talking about? Because you're fully self-expressed.
Well, I'm not. Because if I was actually doing the things that I really love to be doing, I would be doing a lot of traveling, meeting people. And it doesn't matter if there's COVID or not, because I'm quite happy to explore even with or without people. I'd just get in the car and I'd go somewhere and I'd be like, wow, check out this trail or check this out. Or, you know, I would make something, create something, teach something. And it's just in a day-to-day life, I'm like, dishes, laundry, cleaning, and don't get me wrong, those are all parts of life, but it's like that kind of stuff, or trying to get the kids to do stuff, or, you know, just make sure that my boyfriend has everything that he needs, or everything's done for all of my tasks. You know, it's like my life has become kind of like a task list, and if I was being authentic, that would be what I would be realizing. Like, I love art, I love music, I love doing like anything that's expressive. How often do I actually do it? I do art when I teach a workshop. You know, I'm not like doing it because of the sheer joy of it. And that's inauthentic. Yeah.
Inauthentic, as in when you want to be doing art, you don't necessarily want to be teaching it. You want that time alone, that time to, or freely create it and be with it.
It's got nothing to do with time alone or whatever. I just want to be doing the things that I want to be doing. More of what I want, less of what I don't want. What's interesting is that I used to teach this stuff, and I used to be doing it. And so therefore, I was living in my authentic purpose. I was following my happiness program. I was doing my my Finishers Club stuff. Therefore, everything that I set up, when I use my own programs, I'm like, bam, I am living a happy, authentic life. When I take on other things, I sometimes throw my own stuff that I know to do out the window, and then turn into this like making it work kind of person.
The inauthenticity is then you saying or pretending like everything's good, it's happy and all this, I'm self-expressed, when really you're going through motions, what's needed, and you're not doing all that you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not like I'm hiding things or covering up. It was like that was totally out of my awareness. So it's like I'm like in the moment I'm expressing. But underneath there was like so much stuff buried. It was like, oh, I got to be a responsible human being and blah, blah, blah. And don't get me wrong, I still have to be a responsible human being. And I can be a responsible human being who is living my joyous life. So guess what I'm doing after this?
What are you doing after this?
Turning the music up really loudly, and I'm going to sing.
Is it original or?
It's going to be original. I'm going to make it up as I go.
Sweet.
Yes, exactly. All right. So, yeah, speaking of workshops and seeing what's really there, there is a workshop coming up at the end. It's actually the 23rd for the Affirming Arts Workshop. It's going to be Tuesday, March 23rd, 4 to 7 p.m. And it's looking at personal growth and success and finding out what's really underneath. So I've discovered some things for myself this week. And at the workshop, it actually makes it a lot easier to discover and a lot more fun because we're doing it through art. So if you want to discover things about yourself, message me at success@wheredreamsconnect.com. Send you a link for the workshop. All right. What do you have to close out our show today, my dear?
Words to your mother. I'm
waiting for the words.
You don't like waiting for the words?
No, I am waiting for the words.
Oh, if you don't feel fabulous, you have deviated from the path of who you really are.
Ooh, that so speaks to you right before the show today.
I was thinking of speaking to you. It's so funny. And not like it perfect, not planned. This is the quote I chose, and you speaking about the inauthenticities and not being self-expressed, and really, a lot of people relating to this or hearing something, right? If you do not feel fabulous, you have deviated from the path of who you really are.
Yeah. So for anybody watching this, just before we head out, Brian Patrick was having I would say a superstar moment. You know those moments where the actor or actress, before they go on the set, they're like, I can't work in these conditions. So this is what we were going through with Brian Patrick today. And he's like, I need to feel comfortable to do the show. And that is so true. You really do. And then I kind of was like, we got to go. They've got a time limit. They're going to cut us off. So we went live. And what's really neat is when we are in that space and we don't clear it, it does show. You're not living your authentic self in its expressed joyous self, true to who you are. And you're a freaking rock star.
You're a freaking rock star. And all of our listeners, our viewers, rock stars or hip hop or country or, meditation stars. I mean, whatever is at the top and the pinnacle of your idols and what really moves and shakes you, be that, right?
Rock stars too. Awesome. Yeah, I did Qigong this morning. It was great. Anyways, good to see you. Bye, my friends. Have an amazing day. Thanks for joining us today.